It's those fundamental problems of society that we've reached a point to where we're not going to be lazy anymore. We're not going to put all of our concerns to our government officials because they have done nothing and they still continue to say nothing. So what is our solution? Our solution is that we can compete against the government by creating our own civil discourse, or by creating our own new forms of democracy, by creating a new republic. There is no crime for using the constitutional principles to assemble and to express your grievances. The only thing is, they have better logistics than us. They have better corporate systems and better computers and all of this stuff. At the same time, we're at this transitional point where we're starting to wake up and we realize that they separated us. We realize what they've done to divide us, to stop us from unifying. But that light bulb turns on and we see all these tools lying around that we could use to build something better. Build something more civil, more respectful, and more sovereign than what's going on right now. There is enough wealthy citizens in this nation, in every town and every city, to collectively pull their monies together and organize those groups to create better forms of democracy, to invest in open, transparent funding, to create councils within communities where people meet up to actually speak about ideas and to give their ideas. Simple things. It's about logistics and it's about creating core principles. You're telling me that there's citizens in every town across America that wouldn't want to join a group, that wouldn't want to form and organize groups and connect those groups together, to connect all of us together and form the logistical nature, the logistical democracy needed to start to compete with the current outdated governmental system. And that alone could cause pressure for those in Washington and those corporations and those corporate families, for those brand names and those banker names. That pressure alone, that they see that we don't need them, that they see that they can do it without us, and they're starting to realize that the public is figuring it out, that they would submit then to our demands and invest their money into these new core concepts and new core principles that we create as a unified society, together, openly, transparently, where everyone gets a turn, everyone gets to speak, everyone gets to express. All that data is collected transparently. All the data involving crimes and crimes against humanity and criminality, and an open discussion about them. The secrets that our governments have about every issue and every topic cannot be taboo anymore once we're interconnected over the core principle that we can unite and be civil, and to give and respect each other and have space for each other to allow that expression to occur, so that everyone learns how to respect one another's differences. And by doing so, you're going to see many, many things that we have in common and many things that we agree on. And I guarantee you that those many things that we agree on are universal rights. And you can create core constitutional principles that are modernized, that are harmonic, and that are utopian in nature. You can create principles and base your governance and business around those core principles. You see, at some point when these corporations started, they may have been good American citizens, but once they reached a level that at the very top, that these elites that were already there waiting for them convinced them and seduced them to turn their minds into delivering a product and a service for the good of humanity. Instead, it turned into a dollar sign. How much money can I get? Where can I cut costs? And they started to invest in the degradation of the human society by doing so, because they withheld to themselves, close to their heart, greed and corruption. That became their intention. That became their motives. They were seduced by it. They were seduced by the kingsmanship and the queensmanship, to be so haughty and high. And thus, you will always need peasants to serve you if you are a king and queen, now won't you? But that's not the world we're trying to create. That's not the world good humans on this planet really want. Because most of us don't really care about reaching that level. Most of us just want to live. We want to be able to have an education. We want to be able to have a job where and we want to be able to change the concepts itself. If we have any issue, it shouldn't be taboo that we couldn't form groups and form councils, new representatives. There's enough wealthy people in each town to pull their resources into a council, into an open charity, an open fund, where it's all transparent, all money is transparent, and that money doesn't go anywhere until the councils form a new majority rule. And it all stems from having an issue. I'll give you an example. If some young kid goes to this council and he's given every right to speak, and his ideas will be included in the entire discussion, but no one knows of what he's going to bring to the table. And everyone sits down, and there's maybe let's say 50 millionaires, probably more than that, in one small town, all sitting in that room, all willing to invest money, as well as any other citizen, because the charity and the fund can be open to anybody, and anybody can donate any dollar amount, and every voice counts. That's called equality. Naturally, there's going to be people who can put those pieces together, and it's just like a corporation. Use the logistics that they see. They use the data that they see to express it back to the council. That's what they do at corporations when they sit in those boardrooms and have those meetings. That's what we have to do, but we have to do it in a new form of democracy. We don't need our governors and our mayors and all this other stuff. We don't need them to create a more competitive, a more sustainable government. And we form those councils, and naturally, you're going to see people be able to reflect that data better, and those can become new representatives to our new form of democracy, to the new republic. And they're going to be born from within the community. They're not going to be someone that you see later on down the road, not knowing where their ties are or what kind of deals they've made, because they would have been in it from the beginning, and open transparency. And it was created out of real democracy, where your votes are seen. No longer will we accept votes that are put into a box and then disappear from our sight. From now on, I suggest to the World Council, to world citizens, that we create open, transparent polling, open, transparent data where we vote and we can see it instantaneously in real time, at all times, on any topic, on any discussion, that we can express and give our opinions and give our expressions to any topic, to any issue that humanity may have, because that's what it's about. It's about looking at all of our problems together, and together figuring out how we can solve these problems. It's that simple. And you realize how much power you have, then it makes it that much quicker to manifest. It makes it that much easier, because your character is instantly fulfilled with integrity and vision, and not success in the form of dollar signs. You don't see that, because it's not about creating a corporation for that intent. Once again, it comes back to your core constitutional principles. When you start a business, when you start a government, it's the inner core principles that create the standards of living. And take a look around at the standards that's going on right now. You can quickly see why they've deteriorated. So we are waking up. And the solutions are there. We have social networks that we can use to create interconnected groups. We have the internet, which the dark society has tried to control, especially recently, because they know that the internet is the key, the free and open internet, while it still is, that we can grab that opportunity to use it and to create our own logistics. Media channels who are owned by power elites, richest people in the world who own the media outlets, to control every show, every broadcast that's being given to you. And for us to never question the news, for us to never question what they're telling us. Once again, I have to remind you that red and blue are on the opposite ends of the light spectrum. So you digest that for a little bit when you realize what kind of mind control program is being put into place here. See why it is difficult to wake up from it. I can see why those news anchors are afraid to speak out and speak the truth. Why would you do so when you're making so many $1 million a year on your contract? The seduction of it prevents many people from talking about it and wanting to change it. And that's going to be the real issue. But like I said, it's not about your personal life and your little world going on right now and your self-entitlement. In an equality world, the entitlements disappear because everyone's equal. There's no reason to make another entitled to anything. We got to find that equilibrium. But let's go back to these councils. Let's say we form councils in every town. We have these councils and wealthy citizens come together. We use tools like iTablets, live stream. We have investment projects with the schools where we offer kids hands-on training with this new form of democracy to air it, to film it, to record it. And we begin to merge the educational system with the democratic process, and by merging businesses together and business leaders together, all in one room, all in one group, branching off where we need to branch off. You can directly inspire, directly work with, and teach people in your own community straight from the educational centers themselves. And break the illusion of school being a daycare. To actually engage with the future and realizing by doing so we're breaking the illusion of our selfish burdens in our daily lives. By actively engaging with young children who want to aspire to be what they don't even know yet, what they're completely uncertain about. But yet, the uncertainty comes from the top until we become certain of it. And that's what we're trying to do today, is become certain. To become certain of what and where our future should look like, how it should look like, and how it should be, how it should work. And to give that certainty to children, to say, look, these are the principles that we've created together as a human race for planet Earth. Not just my family and the material possessions that I've collected over the some odd years. Look at all the material wealth that I've collected. Look, I'm not going to give you those principles. I'm not going to give you principles of consuming and try to consume more than the other guy, because that leads to happiness. I'm not going to teach you to consume and to do that and to live in your selfish world. To corner yourself by stuff, by having stuff. Never rising above stuff. I want you to actively engage in the future of your own towns, of your own states, own nation, and the world, because that's what it's about. Seeing the bigger picture, seeing the vision of where the future is going to be, to control that, to control it, to not be uncertain about it, because we leave that power to others to decide for us. You really think corporate elites, corporate families, banker elites, industry elites on all levels. And anyone who is rich enough to buy a ticket, that if there was a comet headed towards planet Earth, that any of these people would tell the rest of the world that there's a comet headed straight towards Earth? Or would they retreat in their underground bunkers? Or go off into space in some secret technologies that got hidden away at some secret military installation? Who knows how many underground bases they have and how deep they can go and be protected from such cataclysms. But would they, point being, but would they tell you? That's their intent as human beings. That's the amount of selfishness it brings. And the only people who will be able to survive for the continuity of humanity would be those rich enough to buy a ticket, are entitled, are important enough according to their system, according to their illusion. And it shows you the disconnect at even such a level, because you know they wouldn't. They wouldn't tell you of impending doom or impending cataclysm. They would try to excite it, if anything. So we break that illusion too. And that's one of the biggest illusions to break, is the one of fear. That your future is uncertain, that your world future is uncertain, that the timeline is going to end, there's going to be destruction, that you always have to worry about someone over your shoulder looking at you, big brother, all these things, gadgets in the air and things in your phone, listening into your phone, and control, manipulation over media and your banking regulations. I mean, come on, that's the world that they're creating, that's the world that they're intending. And as of right now, it's starting to shatter. It's starting to shatter. And the solution is that we do create logistics, we do create better logistics, and we collect together as people all those brains, all those hearts together. More brain power, more heart, more willpower than just these handful of elites that have pulled this illusion over us by thinking they were smarter than us, by creating their logistics and logistical communications and their systems. And they've duped us. So we have the tools, people. We have the tools. We have the internet. We have social media. We have enough wealthy citizens and enough good citizens and enough data from every age to contribute into the most massive educational program, business job creating program, sustainable environment and sustainable democracy and sustainable society that this world has ever seen. And we did it without the corporations. We did it without their brand names being tagged on it. And when our movement grows, and it will, we'll put pressure on those corporations to change. We'll create transparent modes of data research for our councils and our community councils and educational councils to sift through and to report and to reflect. Corporations trying to set up down the street, well, what's in those products? We're going to investigate it. We're going to take the power in our own hands. We're going to tell you what's in these products. We're going to tell you what they do. You're going to tell you how there's many studies released on their adverse effects. And we're going to show you alternatives. Because within our core principles of our new democracy, we're trying to find the highest and best good for all concerned. Which means that a solution can be based off that core principle. You may not figure it out overnight, but that means that you've created the space to have a boardroom where you say, look, this is what currently exists. This type of car, this type of heating, this type of electric, this type of food. These are what exist right now. Let's study it. Let's see if there's anything we can come up with that's better, that's more sustainable, and that cut costs drastically. And let's say we can implement that into our sustainable environment and our sustainable society. And all of a sudden, I guarantee you the solutions will come, and the people will do it, and they will build it, and more people will come to it. And those corporations, those elites, start shaking in their boots. And it's not going to be their standard that we adhere to when they finally drop to their knees in submission over what the public has now done and risen up against the small handful of controllers. When that pressure and that day dawns, they will submit to our demands. They will submit to our governance, to our systems. And we'll truly and openly share that information with everybody and anybody, because that's what it's about. It's not about secrets. It's not about hiding behind closed doors. That's why there's no trust in the world. That's why all your TV shows are about gangsters and drug deals and murder and mayhem and crime and mental disease. Because we live in a world where there's shadows. Shadows invest themselves in corruption. And it's that corruption that has been eating away at humanity for a long, long time. But we're starting to see the root. We're starting to see the root of it. And we will be victorious. We will see the open investigations and public trials of any family crest, any bank family, any military or political senator, congressman, industry leader guilty of crimes will come to justice at some point in this new world. I guarantee you that. But we have to hold a light up. We, the people, have to take the power back. So what do you say? Think you can do it? Just desire it. Just desire it. It's like prayer. You just say it. Just say it. I desire to organize with people in my town to put forth a better democracy, to allow others to express their opinions and expressions without judgment, to collect the data, to look through the data, and to offer solutions. That's all I gotta say for right now.